Okay, welcome back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the fins for the rocket. And the most stable configuration is to make 3 fins. You can make 4, and that's fine. Um, but in this case, I'm gonna make 3 fins, and I'm gonna walk you through how to do that. First, what I've done is I've taken just some scrap paper that I've had literally laying around on the floor here from another project I'm working on and taped it together to have a piece that is about this long. How long is that? I don't know, a little over 2 feet. Uh, and what I'm going to do is take one end and some tape and just tape it onto the pressure chamber bottle. Like so. Then I'm going to wrap this around, and there's a little lip or a ledge or whatever you want to call it on the bottle that I'm following around, and you can see that this wraps around way more than necessary. So what I'm going to do is where it meets the piece that I taped on originally, I'm just going to take a pencil and make a mark right there. And then right there at the top, so I can lay this out like so. Take a straight edge ruler. Draw a line. And then I can either use scissors or an X-Acto knife. I happen to have an X-Acto knife in my hand, so there we go. And when I wrap this around, it will be just barely short. And quite frankly, this isn't that critical, but because what we have to take into account is the thickness of the foam board that we're going to use, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So I'm pulling this off, and I'm just setting this piece aside for now. Okie doke. Trash. Now, we're going to take a piece of Dollar Tree foam board, and we're going to draw out a fin. And we need at least 3. 4 is okay. I'd go with 3 because there's something about 3 and the whole triangle thing. If you think about a 3-legged stool, it's very stable. 3 fins, less material, less time, equally as stable as 4, and less room for error. So I'm going with 3. Now, the contact area, and what I mean by contact area is the area that's going to touch the bottle or the pressure chamber for the fin is, in this case, and it's going to be different depending on the type of soda bottle that you use, is from here up to here. There is a flat area right in here, and then beyond that, the bottle curves. Coke bottles are a little more complex, and actually, the shape of them is a little bit better for rocket nozzle stuff. Uh, but right here is where our fin is going to have to attach to our bottle because it's nice and flat. We don't want to get into making a curved fin and trying to fit all that in because that's a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this distance right here. And the flat spot on this Coke bottle is about, I'm going to go with 7.5 centimeters. It's a little bit less, so I can trim things as needed once I get to the point where I want to attach them, but we're going to go with 7.5. So I'm going to lay this out, and I don't know how easy this is going to be to see on this camera, but I'm going to go from the top edge of the board 7.5 centimeters down and make a mark. Now, that's going to give me that much right there, that much fin. I want more than that. I actually want my fin to come down below here somewhere. How far down it comes is, as long as it's down somewhere in this area here, it's going to be very stable. You could bring it down really far if you want. If you bring it down too far, like ridiculously far, it won't sit on the launcher. But if you bring it down like, I don't know, let's see here. Let's just take a measurement. Let's say 12 centimeters. Okay. So I'm going to take my ruler, lay it up on the so that the 0 centimeter mark is along the top edge here. I'm going to come down 12, and I'm thinking 12's not going to be enough. I don't know. It just doesn't make me happy. 14. I'm going to come down to 16 centimeters and make a mark. And quite frankly, I'm not gonna try to fool you here. I've already drawn this out. So if you go 16 centimeters from the top edge and go out 8 centimeters for the distance between the fin attachment point at the bottom and the widest point of the fin, you're going to be good. So let's see here. 7.5 centimeters was my flat spot. Because of the Coke bottle, the shape, if you can see right here, we got a flat spot and then it bumps out and curves down. What I've done is I've taken the fin and I've brought it out 1/2 centimeter from the bottle and then straight down. So, and quite frankly, depending on the type of bottle that you have, it might be different. So you're going to have to try to work that out. And if you have a hard time, let me know and we'll get together and we'll work it out. So what I did was I came down 7.5 centimeters. Then I bumped out 1/2 centimeter in, I'll just hold it up here. Hopefully you can see that. It's a little hard to see in the light. So then from the top edge, I came down 8 centimeters, out 8 centimeters, and I drew my fin. This fin is going to serve as the guide for my other fins. So what I'm going to do is, in this case, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut it out. And when you cut this, you don't want to go, you don't want to push through the whole thing at once. You want to make a score cut or just slightly through the paper. And then the rest of the way through. So in this case, I took 4 cuts to go all the way through the paper. If you try to go through the whole thing with 1 cut, you end up ripping the foam. Unless you have an incredibly sharp, durable blade. And this blade has been used quite a bit, so it's a bit dull, and I take multiple cuts, and it works just fine. So here we go. Now, in fact, this is probably going to be the most, or the least clear part of the whole thing. So when you get her to do this, if you're having problems, please raise your hand, let me know you're having a hard time, and I'll come over and help you out. So, fin almost completely done. I still have to cut a little bit out because of the flat spot on the bottle and the bump out at the bottom. And again, I can't show you every possible combination here, so you're going to have to kind of work this out on your own, or if you're not sure what to do, let me know, and we'll fix it. We'll take care of it. So here's what I end up with. Ooh, my computer just went to sleep. Oh, there I am. Okay, so this portion right here from the top to that little notch is 7.5 centimeters, and it fits perfectly on the flat spot of that bottle. And we're going to make 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to take this as the original and trace it. And let's see what I can do here. It's best to use a straight edge every time you cut. Oops. Fin number 2. Oops. Well, here's a little unforeseen circumstance that I ran into. I actually, when I cut the second fin, I went too far with one of the cuts and ended up cutting into what was meant to be my third fin. But it's not a big deal because I have hot glue. Ouch, it's hot. And I have tape. So what I'm going to do is, if you run into a circumstance like this, you just take a little bit of hot glue. So hold that for a sec, and boom, done. Perfect. Now, there's one more thing we have to do to our fins before we can put them on. This Dollar Tree foam board, while it's amazing stuff because you can like make airplanes out of it, like so, and so for $1 per sheet, its one weakness is moisture. If it gets wet, it peels, you got a problem. So we're going to seal this thing up because we're using water bottle rockets, and water and foam board do not mix. So what we're going to do is we're going to seal these up with packaging tape. Again, finding the end is the biggest challenge. Got it. I think. There we go. Oops. Yeah. Maybe I'll get this worked out tonight. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I'm going to see you guys in a couple of hours. It's late. I'm sitting here doing this. I don't even know if you guys are going to bring in bottles tomorrow. I'm a little wigged out about that. So anyway, dang. Aha, I think I have it now. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Just break off the messed up stuff. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and just lay it right over top. And I know it's hard to see because I got a white background and a white piece of thing here. So basically what I did was I just took a piece of tape and covered one side. Then I'm going to cut it. Boom, like so. Wrap it around a little bit. Make a relief cut. You don't have to do that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Lay that over, lay that over. Pull that around like so. Let's see here. That. Oh boy. Let's see here. Come here. Get rid of you. Lay you over. Cut you off. Cut you off. In fact, it just doesn't matter how careful you are because we're just covering some foam with tape here. Let's see here. Another piece. We'll take us all the way to the edge, which is already trying to peel up because I was rough with it. So I'm going to take that, pull that over like so. And I know what I'm doing here is probably not really clear on camera. So just come talk to me if you're not really sure about what to do. Anybody that flies RC aircraft should know how to use packaging tape because it is the most amazing stuff ever. It will fix anything that flies. Alright, now what I've done is I've sealed up this piece of foam with the paper on it, and it makes it very, very strong. Keeps the paper from being exposed to water, which would cause it to peel off. And by what I want to be sure I'm careful about is, and I wasn't when I did this, was I want to keep foam exposed where it would attach to the bottle with hot glue. So I'm just going to cut through that, which I just did, pull that back, and it's all good. If you don't do that, I honestly don't think it's a big deal. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go back, I'm going to go through and do the other two. I'm not going to bore you with me doing that because I just did the one and I realized that it was probably really hard to see on camera, but once you get into it, you'll get the idea. And if you are a little confused, raise your hand, let me know. I'll come over, we'll get it straightened out. So I'll be back in a few.